everyone, so I'm going to go through today a gentle flow to release tension for lower back pain. Just felt inspired because I just listened to Healthflix. I'll leave a link down below in the description of a talk from Healthflix about lower back pain and about chronic back pain as well. How you can stop that pain and how you can release the tension and basically where that pain can manifest and where it comes from. So we're going to start off lying down on the back and you're going to bend up your knees, have the soles of the feet to the ground, let your arms rest beside the body. And you're going to bring your awareness down towards the lower back. And imagine the lower back softening and melting. A lot of the time when we have lower back pain, we hold on to tension around this area. We hold on to tension through our belly, which can affect our digestive system, and our digestive system can affect the belly in turn. We hold on to our hip flexors and we can hold on to tension all the way around the pelvis. So we're going to soften here. Really think about every single muscle around your pelvis letting go. So belly softening, hip flexors softening. Imagine the pelvis, the actual structure, your bones, starting to become heavier. And that might help you to release the muscle tension. Now, if you're in pain here and you don't feel quite comfortable, you might want to think about putting a pillow underneath your legs so that you're more supported, so you don't have to hold on to anything. You might even think about starting to take your knees together, taking your feet a little wider so that there's no tension whatsoever around your hips. So we're going to start by tilting the pelvis forwards and then tilting the pelvis back. So don't worry if you don't know exactly which way is forwards and which way is back. So don't think about going too big here. What we're doing is just getting a bit of movement in the pelvic area. I want you to think about when the pelvis is tilting forwards, so your pubic bone going down and forwards. You want to think about really relaxing the muscles around the belly, so not a lot of effort here. You might even want to take your hands on your belly just to check that they're not switching on. It's a very small movement to start off with. So you want to go to a movement that still feels comfortable. You don't really want to be tapping into any pain here. And if you're suffering with chronic pain, you might want to think about doing this perhaps once or twice a day. So these movements are to help relax the muscles, to relieve tension. Good. So just finishing that off. Bring your knees back to hip width apart if they were dropping in. And we're just going to gently draw the pelvis from side to side. So I want you to think more about the hips moving than the knees. So imagine you've got a string attached to your right hip bone and it's pulling you over towards the left side. And then dropping the pelvis back down, imagine you've got a string attached to your left hip bone and it's drawing you over towards the right side. So again, try to release the effort in your glutes, in your lower back, around your belly, and just let your hips go from side to side. And each time you do this movement, imagining your pelvis getting heavier and the muscles around the pelvis getting softer. I want you to really take your time here. Don't think about what's coming next. Don't rush ahead. This is doing so much good for your body, even though it's very small and gentle. Lots of people, I think the statistic was around 80% of people will at some point suffer with some kind of back pain. Because the connection between the mind and the body is quite strong. So when you're feeling stressed, we experience pain quite differently. We experience more pain when the body is feeling stressed or when the body is feeling tired, if you're feeling like you're not sleeping very well. These can all attribute to more pain being felt in the body. So just finishing these off. We're going to let the knees draw in towards the chest. And you don't need to hug them in too much, just enough so that you feel this bit of lengthening through the lower back. And then this time we're knocking the knees from side to side. So you might even feel now slight pressure in the muscles along the lower back. So when we talk about there being a strong connection between body and mind, and a strong connection between mind and pain, the situation the mind is in, it doesn't mean that your mind is making up pain. It means that you are experiencing the pain more intensely. So when there is tension in your muscle tissue, it will cause some pain. But the volume of the pain will differ depending on the status of your mind, where your mind is at, whether it's feeling stressed or tired or run down. And nerve pain can also be affected by this. So you might be experiencing some nerve pain with your chronic back pain if you're suffering from it. And the breathing techniques and this gentle movement, releasing tension, will all help. Meditation will help to calm the nerves down. Lovely. So just taking the feet back down to the floor. I'm going to do one last thing on the back. So you're going to think about your left knee drawing forwards just slightly and then bringing it back. And then your right knee drawing forwards just slightly and then bringing it back. So you start to find this really gentle, again, tilting of the pelvis from side to side to relieve tension from the muscles around the pelvis, relieving tension from the lower back. So you might even want to take your hands onto your hips to guide the attention to that area to release. Still thinking about the lower back getting softer, almost imagine that it's melting down into your mat. Relax your jaw, and we'll just finish off doing these. Just do another 2 more each side. Good, and then we're going to roll the body over to one side, bring the body up, and we're going to come into a tabletop. So in your tabletop, just want you to tilt the pelvis forwards and back just like we did. Doesn't have to be very big, the movement, quite a small movement to start off with. Finding out where you can feel any sensation. So I think the thing to remember when you're suffering lower back pain is that you want to try to keep moving. Even though sometimes, especially when your back pain is chronic, it's all the time and it's really extreme, you feel like the last thing you want to do is move. But keep the body moving, even if it's these really simple and small exercises. Keep that mobility, and then gradually you'll increase and the tension will release and you'll feel a little bit calmer. Just finishing off these. Good. So now we're going to just tuck the toes and we're going to walk the hands back to the knees. Come to balance on your feet, and then keeping the knees quite bent, you're going to come to a forward fold. Now if this feels really hard for you, when I was coming out of my chronic back pain period, this was really challenging for me. So if you need to keep the knees really bent, if you need to have a bit of pressure into the hands, then do that. If you can, release your torso over your thighs. Have a little go at that. Again, you can keep your hands on the ground. And then see if you can let your head relax. If you can't let your head relax, it probably is that you're holding on to quite a lot of tension through the muscles in your spine and through your core. But don't worry about that. Try not to be too fearful of that. The fear can also increase the pain. So just ease it with breath. Let's take a deep breath in. And a long, slow sigh out. Deep breath in. And a long, slow sigh out. Feeling your head become heavier. One more time like that. Deep breath in. And long, slow sigh out. Let's start to roll the body up. If you need some help from your hands and your arms, take your hands onto your thighs to roll yourself all the way up to standing. Once you get up, just let your head float on top of the neck. Then we're going to just send the head towards the ceiling, so just let the face look up, try not to drop down into the back of the neck, keeping the throat long. Then as you exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, then keep breathing as you roll yourself all the way down. So slight bend in the knees, just noticing where you feel the sensation. Perhaps you can start to feel it in the lower back, or maybe you feel it in the upper back or neck. And rolling yourself all the way down. And then we're just going to do that twice more, rolling yourself back up. Keep the breath slow. The slow breathing calms down the nervous system, which will calm down your nerves and calm down your muscles, helping again to release tension. Once you arrive to standing, head looks up towards the ceiling, and then rolling yourself back down, chin tucks to chest, knees bend. Imagining that it's your head and your fingers that are draping towards the ground. And once more like that, rolling yourself up. The slow and controlled movement helps to signal to your brain that things are relaxed and calm. Tucking the chin back down to the chest, bending the knees, lowering yourself all the way down. From here, we're just going to walk the hands forwards and we're going to come down to the floor. So you can bend your knees first, lower yourself down to the ground. We're going to take the hands underneath the forehead, then take your feet about as wide as the mat. And then you're going to bend your knees and just sway your feet from side to side. So we're arching through the spine. So we're slightly in extension here, but we're still releasing. It's not a deep bend, so it's not going to cause any damage. And just swaying the feet from side to side. You don't have to go too far. The movement can be really small. And now feel your belly getting a massage against the ground as your feet move. And again, relaxing the muscles in your belly and feeling them soften and melt into the floor. Keep your breath moving fluidly and slowly. Lovely, so just lengthening the legs away, taking the hands underneath the shoulders or just slightly wider to press yourself back. And if it feels comfortable to come into a child's pose. So if child's pose doesn't feel comfortable for you, feel free to come just to sit on the heels instead. Or if that doesn't feel comfortable, you might want to come to sit on your bum, feet coming forwards, and you might be able to take the hands around the legs and just release the spine forwards that way. Legs can be a little bit further forwards or quite close in, depending on what feels most comfortable. When I was suffering from my chronic back pain and I was at my sort of least mobile, coming into child's pose, I would literally be like this, and it would be so painful to even get myself down any distance. So it really took a while for me to release and be able to even get my head back to the floor. So even though it might feel like the pain is so strong or the muscles are so tight, you're not ever going to be able to release them, just keep breathing, keep relaxing, keep releasing the tension with those exercises, and it will really do you wonders. And from child's pose, coming to roll back and sit onto the heels. Just take the pelvis off to one side, and then we're going to come to lie down on the back. So just make your way down easily. You can bend the elbows, lower yourself down with control. Then you might want to take some pillows or something quite padded underneath your legs or your knees, just so that you feel a little bit more release through your belly and through your lower back. If it feels good for you though to have the legs long, then you can do that and let the arms rest beside the body. So we're going to go through now releasing tension through the body, starting from the feet. So take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, release the tension from the muscles in your feet. Take a deep breath in. Release tension from the muscles in your ankles with the exhale. Deep breath in. Release tension from the muscles around your calves and your shins with the exhale. Inhale deeply. And with the exhale, releasing the tension from the kneecaps. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from the muscles in your thighs. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from the muscles around your pelvis and your glutes and your groin. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release the muscles in your lower back. Inhale deeply. Exhale Exhale to release the muscles in your belly. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release the muscles around your spine. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release the muscles around your chest and your rib cage. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release the muscle tension around the shoulder blades and your shoulders. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension along the collarbones and your shoulders. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from the upper arms. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your elbows. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your forearms. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your wrists. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your fingers and your thumbs and your hands. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your neck and your throat. Inhale deeply. Exhale to release tension from your head and your face. Stay here for as long as you'd like. When you're ready, start to move the fingers and toes and give yourself a stretch, reaching the arms back and the toes forwards. And then roll yourself over to one side and slowly bring yourself back up to seated. Thank you guys. I hope that really helped to release some tension for you. I know I would really have loved that when I was suffering from my chronic back pain. Just to go through that every day, morning, evening, or just morning or just evening. Get that release of tension so that you can get the mobility back in your body. There's another video as well, workout for lower back pain, which helps to build strength around the core for when you start to transition into more movement. More yoga classes and more HIIT classes if that's your goal. Thank you so much for joining. If you'd like more of our videos, the subscription link is down below, or I think I've left one here as well in the edits. If you'd like more content and more stuff, more workshops, then you can become a Patreon member. The link is in the description, and you can choose any membership tier that you like and that works for you. Thank you everyone. I'll see you here again very soon.